Connection Group leaders, happy Thursday. I hope that you're doing great. Happy opening day. It's a big day. I'm excited. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, I would imagine him dressed like that. Surely he's driving to the game. And the answer is no. It's not quite 4 o'clock, and I'm on my way to Fort Worth right now. One of our students has a track meet today, and I'm excited to get to see him run and jump. There's this movie that, interestingly enough, came out the same year that I surrendered to the ministry. It came out in 2000. A lot of you probably remember it. It's called The Rookie. Disney made it, and it's about the man, and his name has slipped my mind. I should know it off the top of my head, and I don't. But he was in his 30s. He wanted to be a professional ball player. Thought time had passed him by, and anyway, ended up trying out as an older man, made the team. It's a great story. But there's this phenomenal quote in that movie that has always stuck with me and was particularly helpful to me as a young man. And the quote is this. Jimmy Morris was the baseball player's name. The quote is, "It's okay to think about what you want to do until it's time to start doing what you're supposed to." That movie really was pivotal to me, because whenever I was 17 to surrender to the ministry, that was not at all my plan. My plan was to be a professional baseball player. And I believe with all my heart I was on my way, guys. I was incredibly good at baseball, thoroughly loved the sport, was willing to put in the work, and goodness, up until my 40th birthday, I was training really hard just on the chance that, maybe the Rangers would still give me a buzz. I've given up that dream now. But no kidding, that quote, why it's so pivotal to me is because when I was 17 and God said, I want you to be a pastor, I did. I quit. I didn't play baseball my senior year. I started to preach. In fact, I became a youth pastor almost immediately. I was very blessed to have church invest in me and give me that opportunity. Why am I telling you this? Because this passage we're looking at from Mark 14 is all about, it's okay to think about what you want to do until it's time to start doing what you're supposed to. I'm not going to the baseball game today. I'm not even sitting at my house right now watching the baseball game on TV. As much as I love the Rangers and love baseball, and I'll happily watch the rerun later on. My job today is to go cheer on my student and love him and continue to pastor him and hopefully give me further opportunities to speak truth in his life. That's my role for today. And I do that joyfully. Now, I'm telling you this not to brag on myself. I'm not the example. I'm not the point. Jesus, the example, is the example and the point. Because he went to the Garden of Gethsemane, and he was honest with his Father about what he was thinking and what he was feeling and what he wanted. And I think it's worth pointing out to our groups this Sunday morning, hey, it's okay to tell God what you're thinking and what you're feeling. He already knows anyway. There's no sense in trying to hide it and use flowery words. God's not impressed with our words because he knows our hearts and he knows our minds. It's okay to tell him what we want. It's okay to want certain things. But at the end of every single day, and actually at the start of every day, our role as believers, because we have been bought with a price and our lives are no longer our own, our role as believers is to submit to the will of the Father, even if it's something that we don't want, but we can trust our Father in that he knows what's best for us. And we can walk joyfully in that will, even if we know it's going to hurt. Jesus knew what he was about to go through was going to be painful. He's agonizing in this prayer, not just over the physical torture that he's about to endure. He's experiencing the emotional torture of, my best friends are over here and I asked them to pray and they can't even do that. One of the guys I've invested in for 3.5 years is about to betray me. He literally sold me out for the same price that a slave would have been paid for. Tomorrow I'm going to walk into the building that was designed to honor my Father, and it's in that very place by the man who was set apart for God's purposes, the high priest. I'm going to be condemned by the high priest in the building that was set apart for my Father. He's experiencing all this agony, and yet in the middle of all that he says, but God, Father, not what I want what you want. So joyfully submit to you, and then he got up and he did it. Guys, if that's not a message that we can't proclaim loudly and joyfully to our people, we seriously, we need to give up being connection group leaders. So I'm praying for you that you will be able to speak with love and with boldness and with joy. And I hope that you have some stories. And again, they're going to be small platitudes in comparison to what Jesus did. And remind your people, I'm giving you these examples of how it's worked in my life, but I'm doing that because Jesus set the standard for me. Share those stories, and let's call our people to joyfully give up their lives and their wants and their desires for what God wants and what he desires. Love you guys. See you Sunday. Go Rangers.